Most people think turning $100 into $1 million is about finding the perfect trading strategy, the secret indicator, or the magical system that nobody else knows about. They spend months hunting for that one setup that will change everything overnight. They study charts until their eyes burn, memorize patterns until they dream in candlesticks, and chase every guru promising the holy grail of trading. But here's the brutal truth that will shatter everything you believe about making money in the markets. It's not about strategy at all. I've watched thousands of traders come and go. I've seen brilliant minds with PhDs in mathematics blow through six-figure accounts in weeks. I've witnessed seasoned professionals with decades of experience crumble under pressure and lose everything they built. And I've also seen complete beginners with basic strategies turn tiny accounts into life-changing wealth. The difference between these two groups has nothing to do with intelligence, education, or even market knowledge. The difference is something far more fundamental, something that operates beneath the surface of every decision you make. What I'm about to share with you will completely flip your understanding of wealth building. This isn't theory pulled from textbooks or motivational fluff designed to make you feel good. This is the raw, unfiltered reality of what actually separates those who make it from those who don't. And once you understand this principle, you'll never look at money the same way again. The secret isn't hidden in complex algorithms or sophisticated technical analysis. It isn't buried in some expensive course or locked away in exclusive trading rooms. The secret is staring you in the face every single day, yet most people are completely blind to it. They're so focused on the external mechanics of trading that they miss the internal engine that drives everything. Think about this for a moment. Every successful person you admire, every wealthy individual who started from nothing, every entrepreneur who built an empire from scratch, they all had access to the same markets you do. They breathed the same air, faced the same challenges, and dealt with the same emotional pressures. So what made them different? What allowed them to succeed where millions of others failed? The answer lies in a single word that most people misunderstand completely. They think it means one thing, but it actually means something entirely different. They think it's about action, but it's really about restraint. They think it's about speed, but it's actually about endurance. They think it's about being right, but it's truly about being consistent. This word has the power to transform not just your trading account, but your entire life. It's the invisible force that compounds small actions into massive results. It's the quiet strength that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It's the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. And most importantly, it's something you can develop starting right now, regardless of your current situation. But before we dive deeper into this life-changing principle, I need you to understand something crucial about the markets themselves. The stock market, forex, crypto, commodities, it doesn't matter which arena you choose. They're all designed to separate you from your money. They're built to trigger your deepest psychological weaknesses and exploit your natural human instincts. Fear, greed, impatience, pride. These emotions that served us well in primitive times become our greatest enemies in modern markets. The market is like a sophisticated predator that has evolved over decades to hunt one specific prey. You, it knows exactly which buttons to push to make you act irrationally. It knows how to make you chase highs and panic at lows. It understands your psychology better than you understand it yourself. And until you recognize this dynamic, you'll continue to be food for the machine. This is why strategy alone will never save you. You can have the most sophisticated trading system in the world, but if you lack the internal strength to execute it properly, you'll fail just like everyone else. You can memorize every pattern, understand every indicator, and analyze every market condition, but without the right mindset, you're just another lamb being led to slaughter. The professionals know this. The institutions understand this. The successful traders who've been in the game for decades all recognize this fundamental truth. That's why they focus less on finding new strategies and more on mastering themselves. They know that the market will always provide opportunities, but only those with the right internal framework can capitalize on them consistently. Here's what most people don't realize about wealth building. It's not a sprint where the fastest runner wins. It's not even a marathon where endurance matters most. It's actually more like tending a garden. You plant seeds, you water them regularly, you protect them from harsh weather, and you wait. Some days nothing seems to happen. Some weeks feel completely unproductive. But beneath the surface, growth is occurring. Roots are strengthening. The foundation is being built. And then one day, seemingly out of nowhere, everything explodes into view. The patient gardener who tended their plot every single day suddenly has an abundant harvest, while the impatient neighbor who kept digging up their seeds to check for progress has nothing to show for their efforts. This is the reality of turning $100 into $1 million. It's not about finding the perfect trade or hitting the lottery ticket setup. It's about understanding the deeper principles that govern wealth creation and having the internal strength to apply them day after day, even when results aren't immediately visible. Most traders fail not because they don't know enough, but because they know too much and do too little with what they know. They collect strategies like trading cards, always searching for the next shiny object that will solve all their problems. They jump from system to system, never giving any single approach enough time to prove itself. They're like a person who plants tomatoes on Monday, digs them up on Tuesday because they're not growing fast enough, plants carrots on Wednesday, digs those up on Thursday, and then wonders why their garden never produces anything. The markets reward patience, but our brains are wired for instant gratification. The markets reward discipline, but our emotions crave excitement. The markets reward consistency, but our psychology seeks variety. This fundamental mismatch between what the markets demand and what our minds naturally provide is where most traders lose the game before they even realize they're playing it. But here's the beautiful part. Once you understand this dynamic, once you recognize the real game being played, everything changes. You stop fighting against your own nature and start working with it. You stop trying to predict the unpredictable and start focusing on what you can actually control. You stop chasing quick wins and start building something sustainable. The principle I'm about to reveal to you has been responsible for more wealth creation than any strategy, system, or secret technique ever invented. It's been the driving force behind every fortune built from the ground up. It's the common thread that connects every success story you've ever heard. And once you truly understand it, once you internalize it and make it part of who you are, your relationship with money will never be the same. This isn't about getting lucky. This isn't about timing the market perfectly. This isn't about finding some hidden edge that nobody else has discovered. This is about understanding the fundamental law that governs all wealth creation and having the strength to live by it every single day. The traders who understand this principle don't need to stress about market volatility because they know it's temporary. They don't panic during downturns because they understand cycles. They don't get euphoric during winning streaks because they know those are temporary too. They operate from a place of calm confidence that comes from knowing they're aligned with forces far more powerful than any single market movement. They've learned to think like the market itself, not fight against it. They understand that wealth isn't created in moments of brilliance, but in months of mundane execution. They know that the most profitable trades often feel the most boring, while the most exciting setups usually end in disaster. The principle that drives this transformation is something you've heard 1,000 times before, but you've never truly understood its power. You've dismissed it as simple advice, basic wisdom that couldn't possibly hold the key to financial freedom. But that dismissal is exactly why you're still struggling. You're looking for complexity in a world that rewards simplicity. You're searching for secrets in a game where the truth is hiding in plain sight. Every morning, successful traders wake up and make the same choice. Not the choice to find the perfect trade or predict market direction, but the choice to show up as the same person they were yesterday. They follow the same routine, apply the same rules, manage risk the same way, and execute with the same mechanical precision. This sounds boring to most people, which is exactly why most people fail. Your brain craves novelty. It wants excitement, variety, and constant stimulation. But the markets punish novelty and reward repetition. The markets don't care if you're bored. They don't care if your process feels monotonous. They only care about one thing. Can you do the same right thing over and over again, especially when you don't feel like it? This is where the real battle is fought, not on the charts, not in the analysis, but in the quiet moments when nobody is watching. When you're tempted to skip your routine because nothing exciting is happening. When you want to take a bigger risk because you're feeling confident. When you consider abandoning your plan because someone else is making money faster than you are. These moments of temptation are tests. The market is constantly testing your resolve, your commitment to your process, your willingness to stay the course when every instinct screams at you to deviate. Most people fail these tests repeatedly, which is why they never build any real momentum. They're like a person trying to build a fire who keeps blowing out the match just as it starts to catch. The successful few have learned to pass these tests, not because they're stronger or smarter, but because they understand what's actually being tested. It's not your ability to predict the market or time entries perfectly. It's your ability to trust your process more than your emotions. It's your willingness to be wrong about individual trades while being right about your overall approach. Think about a casino for a moment. Every game in a casino has a mathematical edge built into it. The house doesn't win because they predict the outcome of each individual spin or hand. They win because they understand probability and they let that probability play out over thousands of repetitions. They don't get emotional about losing individual bets because they know their edge will express itself over time. Successful traders think exactly like the casino. They don't need to win every trade because they know their edge will manifest over hundreds of executions. They don't get attached to any single outcome because they're playing a different game entirely. While amateur traders are focused on being right about the next move, professionals are focused on being right about the long-term process. This shift in thinking is profound. It removes the emotional weight from individual decisions and places it where it belongs, on the system itself. When you're no longer trying to be right about each trade, you can finally focus on what actually matters. Execution becomes clean. Decision-making becomes clear. Stress levels drop dramatically. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires rewiring decades of conditioning that tells you each decision matters tremendously. It means fighting against the natural human tendency to seek immediate feedback and validation. It means embracing uncertainty while trusting in probability. Most people can't handle this psychological shift. They want guarantees, certainty, and immediate results. They want to know that this trade will work, that this strategy will pay off, that this risk will be rewarded. But the markets don't provide guarantees. They provide probabilities, and probabilities only reveal themselves through repetition. This is why the principle I'm describing is so powerful and why so few people ever master it. It requires a level of psychological maturity that most individuals never develop. It demands that you think in terms of processes rather than outcomes, systems rather than predictions, probabilities rather than certainties. The traders who make this mental leap don't just become profitable, they become unstoppable. Because once you understand that success is a function of process rather than prediction, you gain access to something far more valuable than any trading strategy. You gain access to a methodology that works in any market, under any condition, regardless of what the future holds. This methodology doesn't depend on your ability to forecast economic events or predict price movements. It doesn't require you to be smarter than institutional investors or faster than algorithmic trading systems. It only requires you to be more disciplined than your past self and more patient than the crowds around you. The beautiful irony is that once you stop trying to control outcomes, you gain more control than you ever thought possible. When you stop fighting the market and start flowing with it, you discover a power that most traders never experience. When you stop needing to be right and start focusing on being consistent, you unlock the very force that creates lasting wealth. This force has been operating in the background of every success story you've ever heard. It was there when Warren Buffett built Berkshire Hathaway into a trillion-dollar empire. It was present when Ray Dalio transformed Bridgewater into the world's largest hedge fund. It guided Jesse Livermore during his legendary runs and protected Paul Tudor Jones through decades of market chaos. But you don't need to be a household name to access this force. You don't need millions of dollars or decades of experience. You can tap into it starting today with whatever capital you have, as long as you're willing to embrace what it demands from you. You. The demand is deceptively simple, yet brutally difficult. It asks you to become someone you've never been before, someone who can watch opportunity pass by without flinching, someone who can endure losses without breaking, someone who can resist the siren call of easy money when everyone around you is getting rich quick. It demands that you develop the rarest quality in all of trading, the ability to do nothing when nothing is the right thing to do. This might sound passive, but it's actually the most active thing you can do. Fighting the urge to trade when conditions aren't right requires more strength than pulling the trigger on a perfect setup. Sitting in cash while the market gyrates wildly demands more courage than risking everything on a single position. Waiting weeks for your specific criteria to align takes more discipline than chasing every moving stock. Most people think trading is about action, but it's really about selective action. It's about you having the wisdom to know when not to act and the fortitude to stick with that decision even when doubt creeps in. The amateur sees a flat day as wasted time. The professional sees it as capital preservation. The gambler views missed opportunities as failures. The investor understands them as necessary patience. This distinction separates those who build lasting wealth from those who experience temporary gains, followed by permanent losses. The wealth builders have learned to measure success not by daily profits, but by adherence to process. They don't celebrate individual wins or mourn isolated losses. They focus entirely on whether they executed their plan with precision, regardless of the immediate outcome. Think about a master craftsman working on a piece of furniture. He doesn't rush through the sanding because it's boring. He doesn't skip steps because he's excited to see the finished product. He understands that every small action, performed correctly and in sequence, contributes to the final masterpiece. The quality of his work isn't determined by any single cut or joint, but by the cumulative effect of hundreds of precise movements. Trading demands this same craftsman mentality. Each decision you make is like a single chisel stroke. Individually, it might seem insignificant, but when hundreds of these strokes are applied with consistency and skill, they create something beautiful and valuable. Rush the process, skip the fundamentals, or let emotions guide your hand, and the entire piece suffers. The challenge is that markets move fast, and our brains are wired to match that speed. We see prices jumping and immediately feel the need to react. We witness other traders making money and assume we're falling behind. We experience a loss and want to immediately make it back. This reactive mindset is poison to long-term success. The antidote is developing what I call strategic patience. This isn't passive waiting, but active preparation combined with selective execution. While others are frantically chasing every market movement, you're calmly analyzing conditions, waiting for your specific criteria to align. When that alignment occurs, you act decisively. When it doesn't, you wait with complete peace of mind. Strategic patience requires rewiring your relationship with time itself. Most people view time as an enemy in trading. They feel pressure to make money quickly, to prove themselves fast, to show immediate results. But time is actually your greatest ally when used correctly. It allows small advantages to compound into massive results. It lets probability work in your favor. It gives you the luxury of being selective rather than desperate. Consider the difference between two approaches to that $100 account. The first trader feels urgent pressure to grow it quickly. They risk large percentages on each trade, hoping to double their money in weeks. They take marginal setups because they can't stand waiting. They overtrade because inaction feels like failure. This approach might work occasionally, but it's mathematically guaranteed to fail over time. The second trader views that $100 as the first deposit in a long-term wealth-building project. They risk small amounts per trade, knowing that preservation of capital matters more than rapid growth. They wait for high-probability setups, even if it means going days or weeks without trading. They measure success by consistency rather than speed. This approach feels slow at first, but it's the only path that leads to sustainable wealth. The psychological shift required to move from the first approach to the second is profound. It means abandoning the fantasy of getting rich quick and embracing the reality of getting rich slowly. It means trading your need for excitement for the boring reliability of compound growth. It means valuing process over profit, consistency over speed, and discipline over impulse. This shift doesn't happen naturally. Your brain will resist it at every turn. Evolution programmed us to seek immediate rewards and avoid short-term pain, even when that pain leads to long-term gain. The markets exploit this programming ruthlessly. They offer you immediate gratification through quick profits, then punish you with devastating losses. They make patience feel like weakness and impulsiveness feel like strength. Breaking free from this psychological trap requires constant vigilance. Every day, you'll face decisions that test your commitment to the long-term approach. A stock will gap up without you, and you'll feel the sting of missing out. A trade will go against you immediately, and you'll question your analysis. Other traders will brag about their overnight successes, and you'll wonder if you're being too conservative. These moments are not obstacles to your success. They are the very building blocks of it. Each time you resist the urge to deviate from your plan, you strengthen your discipline muscle. Every trade you skip because it doesn't meet your criteria reinforces your commitment to quality over quantity. Each loss you accept without revenge trading builds your emotional resilience. The compound effect of these small victories is extraordinary. After months of consistent execution, you'll notice something remarkable happening. Trading becomes easier, not because the markets have changed, but because you have. The decisions that once felt agonizing now feel automatic. The temptations that used to derail you lose their power. The patience that felt unnatural becomes your default state. This transformation isn't just about trading. It's about becoming the type of person who succeeds at anything they commit to. The discipline you develop in the markets transfers to every area of your life. The patience you cultivate while waiting for setups serves you in relationships and career decisions. The emotional control you build through managing losses helps you navigate all of life's challenges. But the real magic happens when these individual improvements compound together. Your improved discipline makes you more patient. Your increased patience enhances your emotional control. Your better emotional control leads to clearer decision-making. Your clear decisions result in better outcomes. These better outcomes build confidence, which further strengthens your discipline. The cycle becomes self-reinforcing. This is how small accounts become large accounts, not through lucky trades or secret strategies, but through the gradual development of the internal qualities that success demands. The $100 becomes $200, then $500, then $1,000, not because you found some magical system, but because you became someone capable of managing larger amounts responsibly. The beauty of this approach is that it scales infinitely. The same mindset that grows $100 into $1,000 will grow $10,000 into $100,000. The discipline that manages a small account successfully can handle institutional-sized positions. The patience that serves you as a beginner becomes even more valuable as you progress. The process remains constant, even as the numbers change. Most traders never discover this truth because they're too busy chasing the next big thing. They hop from strategy to strategy, always convinced that better results are just one new technique away. They focus on the external mechanics while ignoring the internal engine that drives everything. They polish their tools while their foundation crumbles. The successful few take the opposite approach. They spend most of their time working on themselves and very little time searching for new methods. They understand that a disciplined trader with a simple strategy will always outperform an undisciplined trader with the world's best system. They know that psychology trumps methodology every single time. This realization is both liberating and terrifying. Liberating because it means you already have everything you need to succeed. You don't need expensive software, exclusive indicators, or insider information. You just need to develop the internal qualities that allow you to execute any reasonable plan consistently. Terrifying because it means there's nowhere to hide. Your results are a direct reflection of your character, your discipline, your patience, and your commitment to growth. This is why so many traders fail and why the solution feels so elusive. They keep looking for external fixes to internal problems. They buy new courses when they need better discipline. They search for better indicators when they need improved patience. They blame the market when they should be examining themselves. The mirror reflects back exactly what you bring to it, nothing more and nothing less. The principle that transforms everything is elegantly simple, yet devastatingly difficult to master. It's the one quality that every millionaire trader possesses, regardless of their background, education, or starting capital. It's the invisible thread that connects every success story and the missing piece in every failure. It's the force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary wealth builders. This principle operates like gravity. You can't see it, but it affects everything. You can ignore it temporarily, but eventually it will assert itself. You can fight against it, but it will always win in the end. The smart approach is to align yourself with it and let it work in your favor rather than against you. When you master this principle, something remarkable happens. Trading stops feeling like gambling and starts feeling like farming. You plant seeds with each disciplined decision. You water them with consistent execution. You protect them from the storms of market volatility. And you harvest the results when the time is right, not when you want them. The amateur trader wants to harvest every day. They expect immediate returns on every action. They get frustrated when seeds don't sprout overnight. They dig them up constantly to check for progress, destroying any chance of growth. They blame the soil, the weather, the seeds themselves, never recognizing that their impatience is the real problem. The professional understands seasons. They know that planting comes before harvesting. They accept that some periods are for sowing and others are for reaping. They don't expect tomatoes in winter or try to rush spring's arrival. They work with natural cycles instead of fighting against them. This seasonal thinking revolutionizes how you approach markets. You stop expecting constant profits and start expecting cyclical results. You prepare for downturns during good times and position for growth during difficult periods. You understand that drawdowns are not failures, but natural parts of the wealth building process. Most importantly, you develop unshakable confidence in your approach. Not confidence based on recent results, which can disappear with the next loss, but confidence rooted in understanding. You know that if you keep planting good seeds and tending them properly, the harvest will come. Maybe not today, maybe not this month, but inevitably. This confidence transforms your entire trading experience. Losses stop feeling personal because you understand they're just part of the process. Wins don't make you overconfident because you know they're also temporary. You operate from a place of calm certainty that comes from aligning with fundamental truths rather than fighting against them. The beautiful paradox is that once you stop desperately trying to make money, you start making more of it. When you release your death grip on outcomes and focus entirely on process, the outcomes improve dramatically. This isn't mystical thinking, but practical psychology. Desperation clouds judgment, while calm confidence enhances it. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. When you grip the handlebars too tightly and focus intensely on not falling, you become rigid and unstable. The very effort to avoid failure creates the conditions for it. But when you relax, trust the process, and focus on where you want to go rather than what you want to avoid, balance comes naturally. Trading works exactly the same way. Grip too tightly to individual trades, and you'll make poor decisions. Focus obsessively on not losing, and you'll miss winning opportunities. Try to force profits, and you'll create losses instead. But relax into your process, trust your preparation, and focus on execution rather than results, and success becomes inevitable. The transformation from desperate to confident, from reactive to proactive, from emotional to mechanical, doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that unfolds through hundreds of small decisions. Each time you choose discipline over impulse, you move closer to mastery. Every moment you select patience over urgency, you build unshakable strength. This strength compounds like interest. Early on, it grows slowly and imperceptibly. You might not even notice the changes happening within you. But after months of consistent practice, the accumulated power becomes undeniable. Decisions that once felt impossible become automatic. Situations that used to trigger panic now feel manageable. The markets begin responding differently to you, not because they've changed, but because you have. Your improved psychology creates better decisions. Better decisions generate superior results. Superior results build genuine confidence. Genuine confidence enables even better psychology. The upward spiral accelerates with each cycle. This is how wealth compounds in real time, not through lucky streaks or perfect predictions, but through the gradual improvement of the person making the decisions. The trader who started with $100 and the mindset of a gambler slowly transforms into someone capable of managing millions with the temperament of a professional. The numbers change, but the person behind them evolves. The $100 trader who risks everything on emotion becomes the $1,000 trader who manages risk systematically. The $1,000 trader who chases every opportunity grows into the $10,000 trader who waits for quality setups. The progression continues until that same person, now fundamentally changed, can handle institutional-sized positions with complete composure. The journey from $100 to $1 million isn't really about money at all. It's about becoming someone worthy of managing $1 million. The markets won't give you more than you can handle responsibly. They won't trust you with large sums until you prove you can manage small ones correctly. This isn't punishment, but protection, both for you and for the system itself. Every successful trader has walked this path. They've all faced the same psychological challenges, the same emotional temptations, the same mental obstacles. None of them bypassed the process or found shortcuts around the fundamental requirements. They all had to develop the same core principle that separates winners from losers. The principle isn't complicated, but it is comprehensive. It touches every aspect of how you think, feel, and act in relation to money and markets. It requires changes, not just in your trading approach, but in your entire identity. You must stop being someone who reacts to markets and become someone who responds to them thoughtfully. This identity shift is profound. It affects how you wake up in the morning, how you prepare for the trading day, how you analyze opportunities, how you manage risk, how you handle losses, how you celebrate wins, and how you end each session. Every moment becomes an opportunity to reinforce either the old identity or the new one. The principle that transforms $100 into $1 million has been hiding in plain sight this entire time. It's not strategy. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's consistency. The boring, unglamorous, relentless application of the same disciplined actions day after day until they compound into something extraordinary. The traders who understand this stop chasing quick wins and start building slow wealth. They embrace the mundane because they know the mundane creates the magnificent. Your journey starts now with whatever amount you have, but only if you're willing to become someone worthy of the destination. The market is waiting to reward your consistency.